Live from Little Rock. Little Rock Mountain Lions Club. The oldest club in continuous service since February 17th, 1917.
One of our granddaughters, his oldest daughter, graduated in college, and she's now a registered nurse in one of the operating rooms over at Baptist Hospital. So you might want to go over there and let her read.
I'm trying to avoid that. I really don't like it.
Then my other granddaughter, his youngest daughter, is a junior at EFU. She's going back to school. And she wants to be an anesthesiologist. And so she's getting in the medical profession. And so see, if you go to the right hospital, one of them's going to put you to sleep. And then the other one's going to fix you. The other one come home from school one day, the one that's graduated already, and she come down to our place and hey, we don't live far apart, so Joel will drop in occasionally to see grandma. I'm just there. And she came in and told us how the day went. She said, I got to sew up some skin. That was part of the training, you know, that you get.
I don't know where that's hospital now. Go to this, I haven't been real pleased with that here recently. I don't know what it is. It's not like it used to be.
Everybody in our town really brags about Selena.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got a complete orthopedic section, and they're looking at somewhere out there.
During Gary's term, I served as district secretary.
Well, that surgical clinic is a good place.
Well, Dr. Hefley is making a commercial now. The they are board. They don't have to report to no stockholders.
Actually, it's somewhere.
George, you go to the heart hospital.
How are you?
By law, they have to have an emergency.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, because I saw that on the street, it says emergency.
But, you know, they had a patient, part of it, they didn't have an emergency treatment.
I just didn't know if that was just
Family and other things.
emergencies or what.
That's what I understand. Although,
There were some people.
Yeah. Right. Well, I do know that.
And that's great.
There's one ambulance service that they can drive past the hospital to get you another hospital. If you're in an emergency, now, you may be right. That being hard, that was being right there together.
You know, you're on it.
I know a guy in Hartford Village. He said, I'd rather go past. He can't go past.
You're gonna ring the bell.
Oh, where time is it?
It's time now.
Well, let me do my thing for a little bit. These start too early. Am I live?
it looked like it.
Fellow Lions and guests. All you YouTubians. You heard about the latest pirate movie? It was rated R.
Some things just never change.
What's a pirate's favorite socks? Argyle. Come on, you worthless. What does a pirate think happens at the end of time? Armageddon. What's a pirate's favorite food? Artichokes. Should I keep going or is this enough? How do pirates make their money? By hook or by crook? Now, remember your old pirate days, okay? You know, Long John Silver, you know, and the Shiver Me Timbers and Pieces of Eight. You know, remember that? Don't look at me that way. Where do pirates find their birds? Parrots without partners. See, it's a parrot. You remember you people are old enough to remember this. This is not difficult. Did you hear about the pirate's parrot that fell in love with a duck? The bird kept saying, "Polly wants a quacker." It don't get any better, you YouTubians. Just come to the meeting and I promise I won't say anything. Why did the pirate refuse to say, "Aye, aye, Captain"? Because he's only got one eye. Even Lion Bill like that. That's great. Okay, and the final pirate joke. Yeah, right. Not appropriate for lunch, but on YouTube it's okay. What's the smelliest part of the pirate ship? A poop deck. Oh! It's the only one you liked. I'm encouraged to make this quick. It's been so hot, we need heat jokes. Heat jokes. As soon as I get to them. What do you need to visit Death Valley, Arizona? Dental records. See, it gets so hot that Death Valley, you people never took history. And final joke for the day. Thank you. What do you call the Robin Williams movie about a hot California summer? Mrs. Droughtfire. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Please keep your seat. Keep your seat.
All right.
Don't get
All
up.
right.
It's a sitting O.
Well, welcome. I am not our president, but I'm standing in for her today, Lion Sharon. And I want to welcome all of you here. And I know we have one guest, and I think he used to be a past member, though. I'm not familiar with him. Two. I'm sorry. Yes, sir. You want to introduce yourself? Because I think I met you.
He's going to have
earlier, didn't you?
Everybody here knows me.
Oh, I don't know you. I'm sorry.
Only two of them would admit it, but everybody here knows.
He's going to have to pay. Nobody's going to pay his fine. We have two payers, each with a $20 donation. This is what they think of you, Lion Richard. Lion Richard used to direct the singing, and he'd always do it like the old people will know. Mitch Miller. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Did you want to introduce me?
Later.
Okay, later. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And we will have our invocation today by Lion Bill Johnson, and our pledge by Lion Don Roberts, and our song by Lion Curdy. Please stand.
Can we welcome Lion Tom Spann back with us today? Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, a member with the fine.
It is so good to have you back with us. Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, I just thank you for this beautiful day that you've given us. Father, I just thank you for this club and for its history and for its contributions to our community. Father, I just ask that you will bless our endeavors this year and our new president, Sharon. Father, I just ask that you bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies. And I ask this in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Come on, Lion Gill, you got to help me. They didn't like the jokes. They won't like the singing. Here. Oh.
My country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
Wasn't that good? Wasn't that good?
That's one of the best songs we've had in decades.
Yes. I don't have a list of our birthdays and anniversaries, but if you have a birthday this month, you can raise your hand.
Nobody's gonna do it.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay. I guess. Yes, baby. Happy birthday. Any
He did a
anniversaries?
fantastic job when he was the mayor of the big city of Little Rock.
All right.
And now I haven't crash landed yet with my airplane out at the airport because he's in charge.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have just a brief agenda. I don't know, do you want to introduce your guest now?
Yeah, because he's got to be on TV
Okay.
at 1:30, so we got to get
Okay.
him back to makeup. It's great to be able to get up here this week. Had a few issues, but it's a pleasure once again that I can introduce to you a big wheel with the American Diabetes Association, Rick Seelig. And as our annual contribution this year, it's $650.
Whoa! I feel like I'm preaching to the choir because y'all see me about this time every year. But I do want to tell y'all how much we appreciate y'all and how this helps send kids to camp. And our diabetes camp was this year. It costs $650 per child to go to camp, and most of the children around, about 80% of them couldn't afford to go if it wasn't for people like you and the Lions clubs all over Arkansas. So we appreciate it very much.
How many do we have this year?
55. That's all we can have.
boy.
We're capped out.
How much is the waiting list?
We had about 10 or 12 on the waiting list this year.
And it was last week.
Yeah, and it's just because we have a waiting list, just because that's all they can physically take. That's all the beds they have.
Thank you. Thank you. We have a lot of exciting news, and I'm going to ask Lion Cleon. I know he's already live streaming, I believe. Okay. So if he wants to get up and share a little bit about the YouTube site, or he doesn't. Okay. Well, we are on YouTube now, which is great.
I would say that hopefully Lion Dick is able to be with us today. I talked with him on the phone yesterday, and so he was going to try, and I said, it may work, it may not. And he said, if it doesn't work, we'll try again. And so
Okay.
he was very gracious about that. He did say that he has been exercising and that he is getting much better. His strength is getting better. He'd kind of given up, but his physical therapist was pushing him, and he started, at first he didn't like it, but he started seeing some results, and now he's a little more optimistic because he's seeing some improvement from that exercise. Hopefully he'll be back with us. We'll still try and stream if it becomes popular, but we would like to have him back.
Okay,
And
great.
also, Lion Michelle is in Arizona with her mother. She's got some serious health problems, and she's in a hospital out there. So
Okay, great. And anyone outside of our membership can, I guess, view
anyone
our
in the
club.
world can be watching.
Okay, great.
Kathy, will we be able to go and watch it later in case
Yes.
we want to watch jokes or something?
Yes, that's right.
I mean, like in the world can do that?
Yes.
Well, I'll be here next week.
Great. That's great. And I wanted to share our next thing on the program is our sign up for our program chairs. We have a few spots that are missing. I'm going to pass it around. If you haven't already signed up, please do so. I think we need a speaker for August for both meetings. So if you have anyone in mind that you would like to come and share, and so that we can learn more about what's going on in our community, please sign up, and Lion Curdy has the list.
I do.
Okay, you pass that on around. Are there any updates on any special events that we have coming up, or any programs that you want to share?
Richard speak.
Okay.
No, I guess I can help there.
You don't have a choice.
Okay. I think I already told most of you, but our club, the Bryant's Club, is going to start the golf tournament again. And the main reason I came was to, I've got some brochures I can leave, so y'all have some information about, the date and all that stuff. I mainly wanted to get, we had stuff left over from when we did the tournament before. Primarily what I'm looking for is those whole sponsor signs, because I'm going to try to contact all the ones we had signs for and see if we can get them back involved. We kind of, as y'all, most of you know, the tournament kind of dwindled off first because we had problems at Hurricane, and then we moved to Eagle Hill, and of course Eagle Hill is not in my opinion, is not a very fun course. So I think we started losing a little interest, but Hurricane is now in excellent condition. They redid the greens, they got rid of the bent grass and put the Tiff Bermuda. The fairways are excellent. They've got sprinkler systems, there's sand traps, they've got everything. It's just really a fun course to play. And I think we'll get a lot of interest, people coming back. So wanted to ask all of you, because most of us got teams to come in there to just maybe contact. I'm not asking y'all to do a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. I just thought if you had some time and you wanted to contact some of those teams that we used to have before, then you can either give them my name and have them call me or whatever, and I can email a brochure to someone so y'all can have them to print off if you need more, that sort of thing. But primarily I'd like to, if we have some stuff left over from the tournament, I know Tom's got a box of stuff he said I could pick up, but I'd like to find those signs. I know they were downstairs and the place got flooded, so they may be gone. If they're gone, they're gone, but if not, it would save us time and money if we didn't have to replace all those signs. So,
Richard, in the past, when we combined our club and your club, when it was still active, the beneficiary of the income was LWSC.
Right.
Is that going to be the same?
That will be the same. Well, it's going to be WSB and Mid-South Sight and Hearing.
Okay. Sharon would love that.
And we may do a little bit to a leader dog, something like, we're going to do it through the Lions of Arkansas Foundation, because they're a 501c3, and any business, like especially a major sponsor, I'm trying to line up a major sponsor. We did have Culligan for several years, and of course they sold out and he moved away. But right in the process of trying to find a new major sponsor. But yes, it's most of it's going to go here, and maybe $1,000 to Mid-South Sight and Hearing, and then a little bit to Leader Dog. So, any other? Is there an email? Is there somewhere I can send?
If you email me, I can get it out to club members. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Just some. Did you write your email on me? Down the bottom. And that way, if anybody needs a brochure, you can print them out. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other announcements?
Christina, I have just a split second, nothing major, but as some of y'all may be aware, may not be aware, in my brochures or the office, because I don't want to line up the car window and I forgot. I'm on the IFB Advisory Council Board, and we are hosting our 3rd annual bingo for bags September 20th, and everyone is welcome to come. It is fundraising for IFB, which is formerly Arkansas Lighthouse of the Blind, and it's a night of bingo for designer bags, so your wives are welcome. Individual spots start at $100, and then of course there's sponsorships. You can get a table for 8 for $1,000, and that gives you 2 booklets to play. There's also going to be a silent auction, and I can bring my brochures on the next go around. If anybody's interested, they can contact me through the email. But it's a really fun night, and there's food and open bar, and it's drinks and things are provided, and it's a really good time. It is downtown at the train station. This year again as well. And anyway, you can go online and order tickets or get tickets, but it's $100 for an individual seat. If you wanted to sponsor, it works from 1,000 up. Actually, I think 800. 800 is the start, and then it works its way.
Is it a next level event?
Yes, sir, next level events. And it's a really fun evening. This is our third year to do it, and it's a lot of fun. Thank you.
What's the time?
I think it starts at 6:30, but I'll have to get that part. I haven't gotten it, but I will bring my cards, so that invitation cards as well on the next go around. But if you're interested, if you think you're interested, just give me a shout and I'll send you the information. Or if you have anything you want to donate for the silent auction, I'll take that too.
And I want to add, if you're going to speak because we're live streaming, you may want to come up to the mic.
Oh,
I know
okay.
you don't,
Fire.
I didn't think about it.
Fine, yeah.
So just remember that.
I'm
so we
sure he
can.
can hear me real well, but.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to announce that Lion Betsy Barnes had eye surgery this morning, and that's why she's not here. She's going to be out for about 2 days, and hopefully I'm going to check on her this afternoon to make sure everything went well. But just wanted to mention that. And all of you know by now, Lion Katie Morris is retiring at the end of this month, and so we're going to miss her. But we did celebrate her for the last 2 weeks, just to kind of let her know we appreciate her over 40 years, I believe, years of service to the state of Arkansas. And I believe that's all I have, if we don't have any other announcements. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to introducing our speaker this afternoon, Lion Gill. Thank you.
Here's an enthusiastic.
Hello. Well, it's a privilege to have Jim with us this afternoon. I've known Jim for a long time. In fact, my claim to fame was that we were roommates the first year in college at Loyola in New Orleans. Jim's a graduate of Catholic High in 1960 and finished at U of A Fayetteville. And he's married to Patty Murphy. They married in 1965. They have 4 children, DJ, Jeff, Laura, and Donna. And Laura's the proud mother of the quads that became famous in Little Rock years ago. Jim told me they're now 20 years old. Jim was in politics for 20 years of the city board and mayor for 14 years. He's now, well, he was real estate with Hank and Kelly Real Estate Company. Hank Kelly's his brother-in-law. He's now taken leave of absence of that to become the Parks and Tourism Director. He's been chairman of the Little Rock Airport Commission, chairman of MetroPlan, and several other civic and governmental organizations. Please welcome Jim Dailey.
Thanks, Gil. It's a privilege for me to be here for a number of reasons. Number one is to be invited by Gil Caver, who's been my friend for many, many years. And obviously, as he mentioned, we went from Catholic High, went to Loyola University. We both were on the same path initially. I had planned on becoming a dentist as well. And the day before I'd already registered for all of my classes to go into pre-dental or whatever the course line was. And the day before classes, I was sitting there and thinking, you know, I've always thought I want to be a dentist, but I really don't want to be a dentist. So called my parents and said, what do I do? I've decided I don't want to be a dentist. And my dad, who many would know, and that's the other connection that's personal to me, is his involvement in this Lions Club for many, many years before he died. But I remember calling my parents, and my dad was just gracious about it, which surprised me a little bit. But he said, son, whatever you want to do, I mean, we'll be supportive of you, and that's what we'll do. So I went ahead and switched over into the business school. And then after 2 years at Loyola, I decided I needed to kind of make my connections back to Arkansas a little closer, and so I transferred to the University of Arkansas, where I graduated. And even though I had known Patty Murphy, now Patty Murphy Dailey, because she was at Holy Souls grade school with me, 4 years behind me, I was really in love with her older sister at that time. But the reality is she came up to Fayetteville as a freshman, called me and asked me for a ride back to school one time, and by the time we got back to Fayetteville, I was going, well, this is the woman I want for the rest of my life. And so we've had 52 years of marriage, 4 kids, as we said, 6 grandkids, 4 of them quadruplets. Then I will say with my dad's, I guess his encouragement, certainly, he felt that being part of the community, being involved was something that was important, and he always was. I remember 2 groups he was involved with. One was PBMA, Pulaski Businessmen's Association, and the other one was the Lions Club. He also involved in the chamber and a few other things. But besides our business, the office furniture and office supply business, he was an auctioneer, and some of y'all may even have attended some of his auctions when he would handle these estate sales. So the personal part of this is really the connection of my family to this club, certainly my family to this community, and my dad's encouragement to be involved in whatever's going on in the community. And I don't know if any of you remember a guy by the name of Bud Baldwin or not, had an insurance company, and Bud was our insurance agent at the office furniture company. And I was thinking about running for maybe, I had this in my blood, with my dad's encouragement, JC's, all of that. I was thinking about running for a state legislative spot. Bud was on the city council, the city board of directors, and getting ready to step down. And he said, Jim ought to run for this. So I did, got elected, did that for 4 years, dropped out for 10 years while I did a bunch of other things, including the business, then decided to get back into it again, and then ultimately ran for mayor and served 14 years, probably the greatest honor I could have. Still today, people, I think it's because they don't know my first name, they still call me call me mayor. But that's the greatest honor I could have. And so serving as director of tourism for the state of Arkansas, in some ways, I consider myself now to be the mayor of Arkansas, because I'm working with cities all across the state. In fact, one of my programs, which you'll see in a moment here, is what I call the 501 Project. And that is that there are 501 cities in the state of Arkansas. And I decided that I was going to reach out and call each of those mayors of those 501 cities. I'm up to about 140 right now that I have called. They haven't all called me back, or I didn't reach all of them, but my thinking on this is that every city has a story to tell. And therefore, I want to pull those out in this new role I have with the tourism department, is to try to do what we can to promote cities, promote attractions, promote things of interest all across our state. So if I can get this thing to run, I'm going to kick off with about a 4 or 4.5 minute presentation that, if I get it started, I'll put the microphone over there so you can hear this first part of it. It's a little video that kind of sets the stage with the history of the Parks and Tourism Division of the state of Arkansas.
Jim, we don't want to be rude, but Rick and I have a pressing appointment, so we'll be stepping out.
Oh, that's fine.
But I have one question.
Okay, sure.
It concerns the War Memorial Park
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, please.
There's been a big push to take 9 holes of the golf course.
Right.
And commercialize it, and or make a park out of it.
Yep.
Or do something. What are your feelings on that?
Well, I mean, I'm open to it personally, and I think that, and you may not like that, but in fact, when I was mayor, I really opposed that. But I think right now, we have some opportunities to do some things that will, they use this crazy word nowadays, repurpose, but, like soccer fields, ball fields, things like that. We have 3 other golf courses too. My thinking is, let's put a bunch of money into the Rebsman back 9, let's try to get Hindman really fixed up, and let's have some other activities in that Central Park area of the state. And it's that important to us. A study that was recently done, I'll get off of this and we could, no, it's fine. Yeah, no, we could turn this into a question and answer session for that matter. But I think that when you talk about commercialization, that is certainly not going to be the case. I mean, I think that,
People were saying restaurants and.
well, yeah, and I think if any of that were to happen at all, you'd almost have to see some of the plans, because one concept is to do buildings around the stadium, for example, that could have a hotel there, for example. You could have restaurants, shops, additional parking, that sort of thing. If you have events, whether it's golfers there on the 9-hole, whether it's things going on at the zoo, I mean, there's so much going on in that immediate area that there's some real opportunities for us to make that even more significant. So I may disappoint you, but I do think there's some room for at least considering some other options, even though we're probably a long way away from anything like that happening, because it's going to take a lot of money. On the War Memorial Stadium side of it, just while we're on that point, that was a gift to the Parks Department that was not something we were looking to have. I wasn't looking for this job either, let me tell you, because when Kane Webb said you'd be perfect for this, I was chairing a committee to recommend to the governor the next tourism director, and my name kept coming up, and finally I said, if the governor wants me to do it, I'll do it for 2 years. And hopefully, in order to get us through the development of our spending that $15 million of your money that's a 2% tax that goes into advertising and promoting the state of Arkansas, we're engaging right now in the process of hopefully rolling out our new website by the early part of August. And in fact, I was in meetings this morning on that. So War Memorial Stadium was handed to us, and the governor said, I want to turn this over to Parks. That's when we started even thinking about what could be done to make this even a grander park. And I mean, there are concepts that deal with picking up additional green space, acquiring additional green space on the south side of the freeway, working with the health department, UAMS, St. Vincent, and all that to turn that into kind of a master plan development there. The stadium, as you have read, there are some improvements that have to be made, probably about $7 to $8 million right now that will have to be made in order to be able to meet the commitments that the University of Arkansas wants. You read in the paper this morning about University of Arkansas Little Rock, maybe a football team. That's probably a long ways off. Going to take a lot of money for that to come into fruition. But in the meantime, the stadium has been saved. It's a wonderful military historic monument in its own way. We respect that in every way that we can. And I can assure you, even though my involvement may not be as intimately in a leadership position in another year and a half or 2 years that it is right now, but I can assure you that no one is trying to do anything. It's just going to turn that into commercialization of something that's so valuable as that park in Little Rock. So you bet. Thank y'all for being here. Now, let's see if I can get this thing working. So I'm going to turn this on. Maybe we'll see what happens. I had it working a while ago, so we'll see if we can get there again. Maybe. And if not, I will just thumb through some well, here we go. We got something going here anyway. Let's see if I can get the, this is a brand new device that I just got, and we are, let's see, it looks like it's going to start. Come on. Well, I'm going to skip that slideshow because, first of all, it's 5 minutes that kind of tells the history, and I'm going to go right into talking to you a little bit about what I started to talk about a minute ago, and that's that 2% tourism tax. Through the early years of the development of the Arkansas park system, there was you know, we had a bunch of good parks. We had some signature parks with Petit Jean was our first state park, and we ended up with adding more parks as people wanted that to happen. And the reality was that they are expensive to operate, and we ended up with, let me see if I can get, if I can lay this thing down over here. I should have checked this out earlier too. Is this still working? Yeah, it's working okay. We had, the 2% tax was passed by the legislature, which allows the, it's a tax on lodging in the state, boat ramps, boat rentals, etc. raises about $15 million a year in sales tax that is used to maintain our state parks. And we have 52 state parks. Let me see if I can get, this is the, well, I'll just go ahead and follow this in order. There's over $7 billion of economic impact of tourism in the state of Arkansas. The interesting part of that is it's the second largest industry in the state of Arkansas after agriculture. So the governor looks at it as economic development. As a former businessman myself and as a mayor even, I look at this as economic development as well. And it translates into wages, it translates into local and state taxes, and also into jobs. Now, I'm going to give you a lesson right now so that you will understand the organization. Because actually, a lot of people think that I'm the total agency, the director. They think I'm over Parks and Tourism. In reality, Kane Webb, you got the governor, and then you got Kane Webb, who is the agency director over Parks and Tourism. I'm the tourism director. Grady Spann is our parks director. He oversees our 52 state parks and staff, superintendents, and all that for our parks all across the state. I'll skip through a couple slides here in a minute because under my role as tourism director, I'm the one that's responsible for making sure we use that $15 million of tax well as we promote the Arkansas and continue to grow this nearly $8 billion industry that we have. So that's where my emphasis comes in. Under my role, I have a staff of about 80 or 90, somewhere around there. We have 14 welcome centers, which are all stationed all around the edges of the state, which certainly play a key role in helping people not only stop and use the restroom instead of going to a McDonald's, but also to be able to stop and get information about the state. So maybe they can find a place they want to go eat, maybe they want to go stay, maybe they want an attraction they want to see and support, or find one of our state parks for that matter. In addition to that, it's a communications department. I have a research department that actually does research on all the analytics that I don't understand, but that translates into how we target and specifically know where we want to target that money, whether it's through our print media or electronic media. So that's kind of the structure as you'll see it. My department. As I said, we have a $15 million budget. Publications is one portion of it. I might be able to move this thing closer to make it easier. Let me do that. Gil Caver taught me to do this years ago. He said there are efficient ways to do things. So anyway, I'm not sure this will play, but one of the things we're doing is, no, it didn't. We are targeting in our advertising, we're targeting other states, as we always do. The border states are the ones that are most significant to us anyway. But we're doing a unique ad right now that, sorry I can't run it, but it was, it's shout out to like Dallas or St. Louis or New Orleans. And it's like, hey Dallas, take a road trip. Here's some things you can find in Arkansas. So we're obviously running those in, print campaigns as well as television and digital campaigns in our bordering states. One of the interesting things that is happening is the change in habits of the way people receive their information. The share of time daily spent with each medium now, you can see how it changes. Digital in 2013, about 40% of it. Now it's 51% already, and I'm not going to go to all the percentages. You can see television in 13 was 38%, now it's 31%. Radio lost a little ground, but about the same because it was pretty low anyway, of getting the message. Most Americans in 2016, still TV is still strong, but they were getting in 2016, and this shows a difference in 1 year. 57% were getting their information, their news from TV. That dropped in 1 year to 50%, and it continues to go down. And you can see online is continuing to increase, and we'll see that continue for, I'm sure, decades to come. I mentioned we have a new website that's coming. That'll be here very shortly. This is just one of the pictures from the new website. It's going to be more interactive in many ways, but also when you pull that picture up on your computer and go to Arkansas